All right, let's talk about risk. But I want you to forget everything you think you know about conquering the world with little plastic pieces. Today, we're not just fighting for continents, we are fighting to survive the literal end of the world. So think of this less as a rules breakdown and more like your official strategic briefing for leading a band of survivors in the Walking Dead universe. Let's get into it.
You know, this quote from the game itself it nails the feeling perfectly. Society, it's gone. Government, a distant memory. And in this new reality, you're going to find out pretty quick that the dead aren't always the biggest threat. It's the other people trying to survive. So, when everything's fallen apart, what's the actual goal? Well, it's not just about mindlessly fighting off walkers. It's about trying to build something that can last. It's about outsmarting, outlasting, and ultimately outruling the other groups of survivors who are just as hungry and just as desperate as you are.
And here's the kicker. This whole thing is a race against the clock. The game has a built-in ending, an absolutely massive wave of walkers called the Overrun that just sweeps across the map. Your job is to make sure that when that moment hits, your group is the one holding the most valuable ground. It's not about being the last person standing, it's about being in the best position to rebuild.
Okay, so if you're going to make it, you've got to know what you're up against. You need to understand the threats you're going to face and, the tools you've got to deal with them. So let's break down the key pieces on this apocalyptic chessboard.
The whole game is really a tug of war between two main forces. First, you've got the survivors. These are your people. You and all the other players control them directly. But then, you've got the walkers. They are this aggressive, totally neutral force. They don't care who you are, they just pop up, they spread, and they attack anything that's still breathing. Honestly, you gotta think of them like a hurricane or a flood, just a deadly force of nature.
And this is everything you've got to work with. You've got the map, which is this little slice of Georgia broken up into zones. You've got cards. Event cards are the wild cards that can completely wreck your plans, while the territory cards tell you where the next walker problem is going to show up. And of course, the dice. Red for when you're on the attack, black for when you're trying to hold your ground. If you want to live, you've got to master these tools.
So what does a day in this new world actually look like? Well, the game is broken down into turns, and each turn has its own rhythm. A little bit of dread, a lot of planning, and then finally some action. This is the core loop of your fight for survival.
Every single turn you take will follow these 5 phases, and always in this exact order. It kicks off with the dead showing up. Then some random event throws a wrench in the works. Then you get to build up your team, you go on the attack, and finally, you shore up your defenses and scavenge for supplies. Let's look at what each one really means.
Right. Before you even get a chance to make a move, the world hits you first. At the very start of every player's turn, new walkers just appear on the map. And if they happen to pop up in a spot you control, they attack you right away. It's a constant reminder that nowhere is ever truly safe. The threat is always growing. Okay, so once you've dealt with that immediate walker problem, you draw an event card. And this is where the story of the game really comes to life. I mean, these cards can trigger a sudden walker horde, give you a special mission with a big reward, or even force new alliances or rivalries. It makes every single turn feel completely different.
Now, finally, it's your turn to make a move. You get to deploy new survivors onto the map. How many you get depends on a few things: how much land you control, if you control entire colored zones, and this is a big one, if you trade in scavenged ammo crates for more people. This is how you build your army for the fights ahead.
With your new recruits ready to go, it's time to expand your turf. And in this world, that really only means one thing: conflict. You're not just going to be fighting the dead, you're going to be fighting the living, too.
So how do you actually take a piece of the map, whether it's held by another player or just a big ol' horde of walkers? Well, in true Risk fashion, it all comes down to a roll of the dice. It's a really simple but kind of brutal system. The attacker rolls up to 3 red dice, defender gets up to 2 black dice. Then you just compare the highest die from each side. Higher number wins, loser pulls a piece off the board. And remember this, if it's a tie, the defender always wins. A good defense can really make a difference. But here's where it gets really interesting, this amazing thematic twist. When you fight another player, it's just a straight-up dice roll. But when your survivors fight walkers, you get to add +1 to all of your dice rolls. It's this brilliant little rule that shows your people are smarter and faster than the walkers. You have a serious advantage, but that does not mean it's risk-free. Because now we get to what is, without a doubt, the most terrifying rule in this entire game. In this world, when a walker takes down one of your survivors,
Death isn't the end, and for you, things are about to get so much worse. It's a coin flip, a 50-50 shot. For every single survivor you lose to a walker, you roll a die. If you roll a 1, 2, or a 3, that survivor doesn't just die. They immediately get back up as a brand new walker, and they join the horde that just killed them. Yes, your fallen comrades can turn on you in the middle of a battle.
All of this, the fighting, the scavenging, the desperate gambles, it's all building towards one final dramatic showdown. This game doesn't just go on forever. You can feel it the whole time. The end is coming.
See, hidden somewhere in the bottom half of that event deck is the Overrun card. You never know exactly when it's going to show up, but when a player draws it, that's the signal. The end is officially here. It triggers one last round of the game. Everybody gets one final turn to grab as much as they can before the whole world just gets consumed.
And when it's all over, when the dust settles, winning isn't about who has the biggest body count. It's about who actually built something. You get points for every territory you hold, bonus points for key spots like the prison, even more points for controlling whole zones. And you even get points for the ammo you have left over. A smart leader knows that it's not just about when you fight, but what you're fighting for.
So there you have it. That's your briefing. You know the threats, you've got the tools, you understand the rhythm of survival. You know how to win. But as you fight and betray and claw your way to victory, this game leaves you with one last question to chew on. In a world that forces you to be this ruthless, who's the real monster here?